Put that fucking water. What am I doing?
Is it in your ass somewhere? There it is.
Right here.
All right, Tim Stiefler.
Oh, what's going on, dude?
What's up?
Chilling, hanging.
That's cool. That's cool. I've always wanted to let you know, every time you go up on stage for the open mics at Dane's, it's everyone always shuts the fuck up and faces forward and like, all right, what do we got this week?
Hell yeah. No, that's awesome. I'm always just messing around. It's hard because like open mics just kind of feel pointless to me a little bit a lot of the time because you're just sending jokes into the void.
Right.
So I always try to like just fuck around, have fun. I mean, Taylor and I don't know if we did it last week. It did not go well, but Taylor and I are like working on this duo
On the
thing.
duo thing? Yeah. Last week it went definitely not as well as it went the week before, which I thought went really well.
Yeah, and I couldn't tell you why. Why do you think it didn't go as...
I think it's because it was the same audience and we had all saw it the week before.
Oh, you think so?
I think so.
Damn. See, that's the thing. I'm just like, all right, because I always want to get laughs.
Yeah.
Which is not the way, you kind of don't want to be like that at open mics. So that's why I think I just am always fucking around.
Yeah. But that's good because I think it kind of, it gets you in a point where I guess if you're in a situation where no one's laughing, you have to do something kind of creative.
Yeah. What do you do each time? The same stuff or?
I kind of suck at stand up, but what I usually like to do is I try to shake it up, especially if I've been doing that open mic over and over. I try to do something different every week because, like, again, I can tell that the same people are there, and I don't want to do the same joke again and then be like, "Oh shit!" Like these people already heard that.
How many? So are you writing a lot and like that sort of thing, or
that's kind of what I do. Like my whole process is, I started doing all this from like social media and from selling mortgages, and I'm trying to translate it more into like, I know it sounds ridiculous.
No, it's funny. It's funny. Wait, your social media following is mortgage people?
So it was mostly real estate agents. So like in 2020 when TikTok came out, I started posting a bunch of like TikTok videos for real estate and mortgages.
Yeah.
And then
like serious or funny?
Both.
A blend? Yeah.
Blend, but I love doing the funny ones. I was like, I love this.
Yeah.
And I got a pretty good following on TikTok. I got to like 40,000. And that's when I kind of hit a peak. And I think my peak was like, I just really like the humor aspect. And I don't like being a sleazy, like, I'm selling a mortgage kind of guy.
Yeah.
So then I was like, I'm just going to go full comedy and have that be separate from my business. And that's kind of where I am now.
Right. So how long have you been doing stand-up for?
Probably 8 months now.
Yeah.
So,
and did you do any comedy stuff before, like improv or anything?
Nothing. I mean, I've always been writing. Like I've always had like a notebook of things that I thought were funny and I wanted to do something with it. And then once I was like, all right, I'm going to go full comedy, I started using it on Instagram, and I post like Instagram, Facebook, TikTok videos to try to get some kind of following there.
Yeah.
And they do well. Like most of the stuff that I've written in the past is like great. And I have a backlog of stuff, which is nice. But I want to get good at stand up. And that's been like the biggest hurdle is just.
It's the hardest thing I've ever done.
Yeah.
It's the hardest thing I've ever done.
So you kind of were similar. You were in advertising, right?
I was in advertising. I was doing improv for a while. So like my background, like, it's not stand up if you're like grinding and taking it seriously is like, you could end up being out every night if you want to.
Right.
So I feel like I'm doing some stand up related thing at least like 5-ish days a week.
That's good.
But yeah, like, so my background's improv and I was in advertising in New York. I actually started in LA when I was like 21. I took my first improv class. So
oh, wow.
I've been doing comedy for a while, just not like seriously or really like
it was always on the side.
Yeah, it was always just like a thing for fun.
Right.
And yeah, like the advertising thing, just I did that at an agency, a couple agencies in New York, and then got laid off and then was doing my own thing and then kind of got bought out, not for like a a lot of money, but I just became too obsessed with stand up. I just stopped caring about it. And so like my two partners were like, dude, you just gotta go. I was like, yeah, that's fair.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so then you bailed and you came here.
Well, I was still working. So basically, what I was in San Diego, which is where I'm from, but I had moved there from LA and met a girl. We were living together. It was like, a year and a half, but I don't know, we were both, I'm 36. She was, 34. So I think things just kind of move faster when you're a bit older.
Yeah.
And then I took a stand-up class, January 2023. So I've been doing it like almost 2.5 years. Not
2 years.
quite. Yeah, like literally January 1st.
But you've had a lot of experience just from the improv and all that.
From the improv and like, what doesn't translate at all, like not even a little bit, is the writing part, like writing jokes. It's totally different. In terms of like comfort on stage and like riffing, it's you have a certain level of comfort, but also like it's almost like stand-up years versus improv years. Improv, you'll be like doing it, if you're taking it seriously, maybe you're doing it like 2 or 3 times a week, but nobody's like trying to make it. And, a lot of the time you're spending is like in classes. So it's not necessarily on stage performing for people. Whereas stand-up is like, everybody, like there's the people that take it seriously and are like grinding to some extent. And then there are the people that, don't,
Yeah.
which I don't
So
spend that much time
you would say
with.
the weakest part of your game then is that you're saying you're writing, is what you're saying?
100%.
Yeah.
And I kind of don't really. So basically, like when I first started and took this class, all my shit was so weird. And then I found out, I was, stand up is kind of different. And so then I tried to do what I was supposed to do and like write jokes and stuff like that. And I was awful, like really, really bad for a long time. And I'm not saying like I'm like good yet or anything or anywhere near where I want to be, but
Right.
I sort of like embraced the weird style, at least for now, and went back to that, and things started going better. So like doing that character, like, I like coming up with ideas and concepts, before just like coming up with like a
written script of some kind.
yeah. So I had this idea of like, wouldn't it be funny if I was like singing my girlfriend a song who isn't my girlfriend, it's just a random person in like the audience. And then, but the song didn't play. And so I was just like, yeah, everybody get the fuck up and, dance to the beat. And then, but there's no beat and it's just very awkward.
Yeah.
So, just like having like a random idea like that and then trying to build it out. Those are the things that are like fun for me.
I think that's the most important thing at the end of the day is that you're also having fun with it. Yeah.
Right. But the thing I'm struggling with, and I don't know how you feel about it, is things become less fun the more you do it. And so, like I think one of the biggest skills, which I don't have, are, for the best stand-up comedians, are the ones who are like truly able to maintain at least like a believable but fake impression that they're like really enjoying it. Like they're laughing at, like Shane Gillis is really good at that. He's like
great at that.
laughing
Yeah.
at his own jokes and like,
So like to be able to be consistent doing it a lot and still having fun and projecting that you're having fun.
yeah,
I think a lot of it comes from like what you said with writing and
sorry.
oh, you're good. Do you need to take it?
No.
Like with writing and doing improv, I think it's a good balance of the two because I almost feel like I'm the opposite of you, where I feel kind of stiff on stage and I don't feel very good. Mina! I don't feel really good, like, what do you call it? I don't feel good at like kind of moving around and being silly and kind of crazy, but I do feel like my writing carries itself. I do
Right.
feel like the writing is really good.
Yeah, there's like multiple
Yeah.
just silly dogs. I'm cool with this. They're just dumb. Like I love these like on stage just freaking out.
It's all good.
Wait,
You want to come here? Yeah. You can.
yeah, there you go. Crazy guy. Yeah, I think okay, so my journey was what I tend to gravitate towards, which is like weird, not set up punchline stuff, just weird, original, always trying to be original, sometimes like just trying to deconstruct the art form of like doing like anti-comedy stuff or making fun of it or whatever.
Right.
That's just kind of like what tends to
But you're getting bored of it, it sounds like.
Yeah, kind of. Like I just get like now I'm just like, do I want to do like normal bits? I just kind of I get very bored. But like kind of what happened for like what you're saying, because I was in that situation, was my material was like just not good. And so I remember I got like the Sunset Strip was having auditions for door guys.
Yeah.
And it was like they had 3 door guy spots, 500 people applied, 100-ish got to audition. It was ridiculous for a door guy spot.
That's wild.
Yeah. And at like the, a good club, but still like the B club. So whatever. So I did that audition, but my material was like not good and everybody was like bombing. And so what I did was I dressed up. I don't know why I'm so like comfortable just taking these big swings, but I dressed up in like interview attire, and then I like went up there and I treated it like an interview.
That's
I had
good.
but
I bet that killed.
Yeah, and I had like reviews of like like LinkedIn reviews, and I like read those, and then talked about my availability and stuff like that, and then had like 2.5 minutes of that. Instead of like continuing to riff on that, then I went into material and I ate a dick. But it was like it was really good for those 2.5 minutes, and that's what people remembered.
But sometimes that's all it takes, is just to do, like you said, the big swing, because nobody else is doing that. Everybody else is like got some scribbled bullshit that they
To me,
have.
it just seems like a waste of time. Like I got in Kill Tony, and I didn't consider what I did to be a big swing. It's just one of my normal bits, and it went fine. It didn't. I think the audience was like, I don't know what the fuck to make of this shit. And people are just like, wow, you like really went for it. I was like, no, that's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to do the Timmy no breaks.
You wanted to really go for it.
I just don't understand what the point is of like going up there, and if you just go up there and you're like one of like us, like just white guys.
Yeah.
And you're not like Keith Cordes or like something that's like memorable.
Yeah.
And you're just doing jokes. It's kind of like,
they want something more.
What's going to happen for you?
They want something more.
Because
you need to play into like the physical trope that you're in or whatever, is what you mean?
I just mean like you might as well take a huge swing, and then the result, if the result is everybody hates it or everybody loves it, there's no benefit to just going up and like doing just normal stand-up
just
jokes.
Some crap.
Unless, I mean, like if that's a lot of people's style. So like most people's, so like do that. But for me, playing it safe makes no sense if I'm already doing these like ridiculous things.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned you took some courses for improv and stand-up. Have you ever thought of taking one for writing, if that is like the weaker part?
Well, writing is definitely a part of the, if you take a stand-up course or whatever, but I don't know. Like I kind of, what I'm doing now, I'm like kind of digging, like just coming up with ideas, trying to build them out, So I'm okay not having like traditional setup punchline format. I'm also like, I think Louis C.K. is probably the best to ever do it, and his process, he's never written. He just like has an idea for a bit. He writes 1 or 2 words, and he just goes on stage and writes on stage. I'd be more interested in getting good at writing on stage, because it's like a spoken art form, not a written art form. And so when I write, and this is kind of what he said and Bill Burr says, is like, it just comes out like writery.
It comes out writery, yeah.
And I think there's people that, benefit from writing jokes because it's their style, like a Mitch Hedberg type comedian. Or
right. Well, that with Mitch Hedberg, I think it's the beauty of how simple and quick it was, which is why it's like, even if it sounds scripted, it doesn't matter. It's so incredibly clever that it just fucking lands.
Yeah.
But I think the Louis one is kind of the one that we all aim for, especially me. But I think, again, there is a blend of improv in there. I think too many people lean into the writing, but you need to be able to tell the story like you're telling it to a buddy at a bar, and it just needs to come naturally.
And I think sometimes the best way to do that is just to write down like maybe the punchlines a little bit,
Right.
and then just see how you get there
And
organically.
just see how you get there. Yeah.
But for me, like not writing, a bunch of stuff, was because like I was putting on, my friend and I were like running a show out of like a high-rise WeWork type space.
I saw some clips of this.
Yeah, and like we were doing like 5 shows a weekend and putting ourselves on all of it. And we were also getting booked on other shows because people wanted to get booked on those. And all I did was crowd work.
Oh, yeah?
Because crowd work would go, because my material sucks so much, crowd work would go better. And then what ended up happening was like, I think it just made me, I don't know, it just kind of opened things up more a little bit for me, where I was just like able to, I don't know, be more comfortable being myself. That to me, like,
But crowd
helped.
work is kind of like improv. I mean,
Yeah,
you're
it's
just-
100%
It's just
improv.
you're improving.
Yeah, it's 100% improv.
Yeah.
And I don't think stuff was great. Like I would have these really good moments, but
But it's more of a connection, I feel like, with the people watching.
yeah, I was watching a set at Creek last night, and like I could feel like the guy losing them a couple times, and to reset, he would kind of go to crowd work, and I think that always works,
Right.
Because it's like the audience. It feels like the
It's
audience.
a vibe check. It's like, where are you at right now? How you feeling? Like, what's going on?
Yeah, but I don't think like necessarily like the whole like, hey, you guys I feel you guys pulling back.
Right,
You know,
not like
I
that.
hate that.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
But it seems so many good comics do it that like probably I should do it. But there's something about like reconnecting with the audience. It seems that's like a cheat code for like getting them to lean in and pay attention again. I don't know.
Right. I see Ben Bankus. You know him. He does that a lot. I see him do clips where he can tell that he's kind of losing people, and he'd be like, "This lady looks like she's been pissed off the whole time," or something like that. And then that kind of gets people going, "Oh, where is she?" And they kind of refocus, and everyone's looking and paying attention.
And then if you could do one of those tricks, like some people are better at it than others, but do one of those tricks where it seems like you're coming up with something in the moment because you have like this interaction with someone that leads to some specific thing that you kind of guide them towards, that then leads to a joke, and it doesn't seem like a joke or pre-written material because it just seems like you
It
got
seemed
it
like
from
it
them
was natural, but you actually do have a setup there.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, like if I used to do this bit, now I do it as like that Timmy No Breaks character, but like where it's again ridiculous, but I just say I'm 18 years old, and I obviously don't look 18-year-old, and then I get like mad at the audience, and then I like do some like pre-written roasts of them.
Yeah.
But there was one moment where like it just kind of accidentally came out naturally, where there was a reason where, like there was somebody in the audience and I was like, dude, you look like a child, like you're not able to be here. And then I was like, how old are you? And they're like 20, 25. I'm like, yeah, fucking right. I'm 18 years old. and then, there were people laughing. I was like, actually I am. That's rude. And then I was able to, and and then the bit did better than
It all
it had ever
jived
done
real well.
because it seems it's one of those things where like crowd work does better because people think it's in the moment. So there's a lower barrier to get a laugh when you're
Right.
doing crowd work.
Right. So,
Wes, shut the fuck up. I love you, but shut the fuck up, dude.
do you want to come up here again?
Wes, come here. Wes,
He's distracted.
come here. Come here.
How old's the dog? He looks a little older.
I don't know, like 8 maybe. Okay, this should be okay.
That's good.
Yeah, anyways.
Yeah. That's cool, though. That is good.
So how do you feel? Are you enjoying it? Are you like, I'm going to stick with this? Do you
I
feel
enjoy
like,
it. I enjoy it. Like, there are a lot of times where I go up and I'm like, man, that was fucking awful. But there's some kind of calling that's like, I got to go back. You
Yeah,
know?
yeah, yeah,
There's
yeah, yeah.
something that's like, I can't just give up. I got to go back.
Right.
But I've had ones where I'm like, holy shit, that was fucking brutal.
I still have that. It's the worst
Yeah.
feeling in the world. What happens is like your bar will get higher and higher the more you do it. So like you'll have a good set and then like your bomb bar. So like in the beginning you're like, okay, like I know like a bomb is like nobody laughs, and that's like your baseline. You're like, I just bombed.
Yeah.
But then as you get better and have better sets, you're like, I bombed. But it's interesting because if you had that set in the beginning, you'd be like, that was pretty good. So it's like there's no feeling satisfied for the people that get good. There's no feeling satisfied for the people. Some of the worst comedians I see in the scene are the people that think they're good, and
that's always
it really
a sad
bothers
thing
me
to see. Yeah, is when people are like, "Fucking did so well."
Yeah,
and it's
like,
like
I just,
I
like-
watched that. What the fuck?
Yeah,
No,
just
you
like
did
you
not.
delusional dumbass. Like I don't know why that bothers me so much. It
It's pretty
shouldn't,
bad.
but
It's almost, I don't know. I kind of feel sorry for them, but at the same time, I'm like, that's kind of weird that you would even think that you did good because it kind of reflects into everything else in your life, you know?
well, I mean, I don't feel sorry for people that like they're probably happier than me, you know, if you're dumb, you probably are a happier person because you're just unaware.
Have you seen, what's that thing? It's like, would you rather be the dumbest person in a society or the smartest?
I would rather be the smartest as long as it's not so smart that I just like kill myself.
Well, that's probably where you're going to go, though.
Then probably not.
Yeah. And most people are like, what they say, I think I'd pick the dumbest to see if I can get some kind of benefit out of everybody else, you know? Just
Right. I don't know. For me, like I would prefer to be my level, the level of smart that I am, or the level of not dumb I am. I think.
When you see comics out there, so you said you do a lot of improv. When you see comics out there, who are the ones that you respect the most? Is it other people doing the same stuff you're doing, or is it people who have like, oh my god, the writing is so good, and I wish I could do that? Like,
It's all of it. I mean, the weird thing is I don't like stand-up comedy. Like I don't like watching it that much.
Yeah.
I've never been. It's weird. I'm like one of the only people I know that's like that, which surprises me. But it's like, you know, just like a dude with a microphone, and like I don't know. That's kind of boring. I've always not all of it. Some of it's amazing. But growing up, I was like, I do not want to watch stand-up comedy.
really?
For some reason, I was like,
That's
I
so
love
interesting.
Dane Cook.
Well, I could totally see that. He moves around a lot. He's kind of
Well, he was really funny.
Yeah, yeah.
Like his albums and stuff like that. So I would listen to that, and I would listen to Louis specials. I did watch the first special that really like broke through for me. That was Shane Gillis live in Austin, though.
oh at the creek.
Yeah, that one. But yeah. Anyways, so I'm like, in terms of like comedians, I really like and respect. You know, I like Rick Glassman has some amazing bits. I saw him do a full set, and it was like, you know, not the best. Casey Rocket. You know, in terms of like the weird ones. This guy that I saw, Zach Tucker, last night as part of Moon Tower was really amazing. But then, you know, like Louis C.K., Shane Gillis. I'm trying to think like for writing who.
Because I would almost
like
say
my
like
favorite.
Shane Gillis's writing is kind of like it's not insane, but I think his cadence, what is that cadence? He's so genuine.
Yeah, he
That's
basically
really what it comes down to. Yeah.
My analysis of Shane Gillis is that he does a bunch of things that people do in stand-up better than anybody, and because he's doing multiple things better than anybody, he's, you know, the biggest comic in the scene, you know, in comedy right now. So like his act outs / impressions are better than everybody.
Impressions are
He's
solid.
more able to be more genuine and conversational than anybody, and he has, you know, up there with some of the best people in terms of like premises.
You think
I
it's trained, or do you think he's just like been sharpening that sword for years, or do you think it's just like pure talent?
It's probably a combination. Like, you know, like I read a lot of like comedy autobiographies, and it seems like every single person, except for maybe Louis C.K., started out amazing.
Oh, really?
You know, like with like recognition and success, which is a little discouraging.
That's very discouraging.
I know.
That's
But then,
the saddest thing I've ever heard in my life.
if you want to pull something up, though, we could watch it for a little bit. Do Louis C.K. YouTube first stand-up set.
Oh, I watched this the other day.
Stand-up set, yeah. I think it's...
Is it this one?
No.
Oh, this one?
No. First TV appearance, maybe. I mean, it might be the same thing, but yeah, maybe try first TV appearance.
Let me go on YouTube.
Yes, this one, 1988. Watch this. So it's so different from what he had, and it's like he was a clean comic. It's just,
It's like seeing early
it's
George
the most
Carlin.
inspiring. It's the most inspiring thing.
Have you seen early George Carlin?
No,
It's the
same thing.
It's insanely like 1950s clean humor.
Yeah, this is like funny son of a gun.
God, he has full hair. Look at
I
that.
know. Wonder how old he was. Definitely 20s.
20 something. It's so
It's pretty bad.
It's
you
so
know?
bad, yeah.
And it's not natural at all.
Like if you did this today,
Oh, this is sign language. And anyway, so it's just like,
what are you saying?
yeah, I mean, it's like not.
It's bad. It's like
it's not
hard to watch almost.
Yeah, it's not great. Like if somebody did that at an open mic, people would be like that.
Like
That kind of sucks. It's just like very. Anyway, so I think if you ever get discouraged, just go back and watch that. I think he was like 10 years. He might have been like longer in. And then I guess what happened was he just was like unhappy about like his marriage or something like that. And he went on stage and just riffed about it.
Yeah.
And it changed everything.
I actually watched that interview the other day, and they were talking about Louis C.K. and like one of his best speeches or something. It was at the I forgot the name of the show, but he was basically going, I was doing the same bits for like 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
And I was fucking depressed, miserable. I hated all the laughter I was getting. And then one day, like you said, he went up there and he was like, the joke he did was, I hate my kid because she keeps getting in the way of me having sex with my wife.
Yeah.
And everybody was like, whoa.
Yeah.
And he was like, that was a better reaction than the bullshit that I was getting for years.
And it feels better probably because it's actually what you want to talk about.
Exactly.
I would I see that stuff like Louis do bits where he's like really talking. Like I would love to, part of like me doing a lot of anti-comedy stuff and like weird stuff is because I haven't figured out how to make real grounded bits where I'm genuinely myself funny yet.
Right.
So I think that's probably a piece of it because I fucking hate healthcare. Like, I like with a passion, I hate customer service calls. I hate these things that everybody hates and I want to talk about it, but I don't know how to make it funny yet. I don't know how to be funny as myself. So I think in some ways, it's maybe like a self-defense mechanism. Just shut up. Just stop. I love my son. Yeah, maybe I should talk about.
That was the first joke I saw you do was the Tesla Timmy. Like, I love my dad.
Tessie, yeah.
I love my dad.
I spent 4 months trying to make that work really well.
What was hilarious was it was right when I started.
Yeah.
And I remember going to the first open mic and I saw you there and you did the bit and I was like, oh, that was funny. That was different, And then I went to another open mic and then I saw you there and I was like, oh, he's doing it again. And then I went to another place and you were there and I was like, let's do it again.
Yeah.
And then anytime I saw you, I was like, he's going to do the thing again.
I like, that was the first time where I was like, okay, I need to stick with a bit. And because I would just keep throwing stuff out. And do you do that? Like, I mean, how much time do you have that you feel good about? 0?
Oh, no, I did 10 minutes the other day at some show, and it was pretty much everything I had that I thought was good. And I thought most of it was pretty solid. But most everything I have right now is like adolescence, things that I did when I was younger that I think are funny. And a lot of it I just posted on Instagram. And it does really well on Instagram and TikTok. And like that's where I feel confident. But sometimes I'll say it on stage and I'm like, I don't know if this is that funny. Like for one joke that I have, it's just a story about me as a kid, and it's like before I masturbated, I used to just go on the family computer, and there was a website with like girls in bikinis, and I would print out the chicks in the bikinis, and I would put them under my bed. But my parents were getting pissed off because I was using all the colored printer ink on the family computer, and they had to sit me down at one point and go like, "This is all natural. What you're doing, it's very natural, but we need to teach you how to use the black and white printer." Because, and it's kind of a silly like story.
It's crazy. This is how my parents gave me the sex talk. It was out of necessity.
Exactly.
They're like, you know how fucking expensive ink is?
Exactly.
Piece of shit.
And I think it's funny, and like I do that on stage, and people are like, "That is a funny story," and they laugh. It's not like haha, like oh my god, but it is a story of like that's kind of a.
I think it's funny. I think it's funny. You know, particularly for parents, it's probably relatable. It's like parents hate giving the sex talk so much, but they like people are parents or people hate having to replace their printer ink so much that they're willing to have the discomfort of a sex talk.
They were like, all right, we got to do it to save.
Like there's something about that is very, very funny.
Yeah. That's like most of my bits right now is something that I did. And I was like, that was kind of an interesting kind of moment in my life that might be worth a bit, but I don't do anything too observational. I have one that's pretty observational, which is when I was at the airport, I was thinking you could probably just point at anybody in here and yell, "That guy has a bomb in his ass," and they would probably have to check that guy's ass. That's like one of the only ones I do that is kind of observational and funny.
Yeah.
But everything else is generally like what I've done with my life and stuff.
Yeah, I think that's the stuff that people say you should do, right?
Exactly. And I think it kind of, the thing that I think is important is that they learn a little bit about me, you know?
Yeah, I think there's definitely something to, like, you know, sometimes I worry that my comedy is, you know, so if you see the movie, I think Anchorman is like one of the funniest
for sure
movies, but, you know, to me it's better as like clips. And when I watch the movie, I'm just like, you know, it like kind of just runs out, and it's like, so, you know, it's not
because they're so in a character that it's almost disassociated from like how people act, really. Yeah,
it's just like it's like a series of jokes, and there's no real story, and moment. I feel like we need like versus like watching, you know, Knocked Up, you know, you could rewatch that a bunch, you know. So I think my stand up is Anchorman and not Knocked Up, and I worry, you know, as I do longer sets, if I need to. But maybe for, you know, we're all working towards
stand up as Anchorman, not Knocked Up.
Yeah, we're all working towards, you know, like a headlining set at some point, right?
Right.
And maybe 45 minutes, you know, I could get away with it.
Have you seen that guy that he's like the disheveled tie? Oh,
that was the guy I saw last night. Yeah,
that guy does Anchorman the whole time.
Right.
And you never really get to know him, though. But you're saying that was his problem.
Yeah, and like that was the thing. Like I felt the audience pull back, and then he kind of was himself, like kind of broke character and like, you know, engaged with the audience a little bit. It was weird. It was weird because there were some moments where it like felt like it was losing steam, but then like he kind of brought it back also with just a bit that was so funny that it broke through. Like it was this Baha Men bit.
You think he got a couple just in the pocket when he's like, all right, we're kind of falling off.
He's got everything in the pocket. You know, like it's very well thought out, calculated, you know, stuff. But I think, you know, it's like Casey Rocket. It can get exhausting. You have to figure out ways to change things up.
But even he kind of slows it down sometimes. They're like,
Have you seen his clips or his
Yeah,
set?
but a lot of his clips is like when he goes out there for the minute on Kill Tony, it's just like gas, you
Yeah,
know.
right.
But there are moments when you watch a longer set of his where he kind of brings it back and he goes,
Did he
yeah,
do
when I
Kill
was a
Tony?
kid. Casey Rocket?
Oh no. Oh, we're talking Casey.
Yeah, I'm talking Casey Rocket. Yeah, where he kind of brings it back a bit, and then he's like, "Well, when I was a kid, I did this and that," and it kind of gives people a little bit of insight into like
Right.
who are we talking to right now, really? You
Right.
know?
I saw him headline for the first and only time like 5 months ago at Comedy Mothership, and it was he's still like figuring it out, I think. But at least then he does 10 maybe 15 minutes of Casey, like you see him where he's running around, and it definitely around the 10-minute mark, at least for me, or like 7, loses a bit of steam.
Yeah.
But then he goes into like longer bits where he's not necessarily running around, but he's just like doing these longer bits that are kind of like, yeah, a story, but it's fucking nuts. It's about like his love affair with like the guy from Six Flags, but at least it's like there's somewhat of like a narrative there.
Yeah.
And I think that that helps. You just can't do
something ridiculous for 45 minutes.
Yeah.
and hope that it
you
works.
gotta change it up. You gotta find like interesting, unexpected places
So-
to take it.
What about the argument? So a lot of people make the argument that it's because when you're doing shows at a lower level, like 10 minutes, 15 minutes is where you're maxing out.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you have 45 minutes, you can kind of go into these longer winded jokes.
Yeah.
And is that really all it is? It's like you have to change your whole game up when you have that much time. It has to be more of like a, like you said, a narrative. You got to be telling a story.
Yeah, I think we just are gonna figure things out as we get more and more time. I think kind of the way, because I think I get 15 minutes every now and then, and that's probably like but like for me it's like, how do you use the spots that we're getting, which is 10 minutes, to try and like put something together. So the best I can do now is like just have 10-minute chunks that work independently, and then see what happens. One day hopefully get to a point where I can like do a longer set and see what happens when I put those together.
Is that the longest you've done? Is 15?
I did 20 of clean material because I said I could, not because I had it. And so that was rough. That was the longest.
Was that like
the
a
longest
corporate
I've done.
thing? What was that?
No, it was like they were doing a show at the Hilton.
Oh, okay.
That
I think
guy
I
that
signed up
started
for
it?
that.
Yeah, I tried signing
Callahan?
up.
Was-
Yeah. If he
yeah.
watches this, he's definitely not going to book me again. And it didn't go well, so he probably shouldn't.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, so I think it was like the first show he might have produced. So he was like, yeah, I'm going to give everybody 20 minutes.
Oh, shit.
So yeah, everybody got 20 minutes
That's a fucking
clean.
lot
Yeah, it's a lot, particularly for
first timing.
yeah.
That's, yeah.
So yeah, that was a lot. But that's the longest I've done. I mean, I want to do 25. Like I have 25 of stuff that works. I've just never done it all together, and so I don't know how well it would go. And I also, it's also how do you structure everything.
But your most comfortable range right now is like what, 10 minutes, 5 to 10?
I 10, but I can, I'm starting to like be more comfortable with 15. I just need more. And again, like I have these bits that I don't do anymore that like work well. I have this like script bit and like, some other stuff that works well, but I just, I know once something works, I kind of want to stop doing it, putting it to the side. Once something works and I feel like I am not making it any better, then I want to like set it to the side a little bit and try to come up with more stuff.
When did you say you started at 21?
Improv? Yeah.
Did you always kind of know like this is what I'm going to be doing?
Oh fuck no. Like I mean, living in our society, at least for me, like I went to like a private school, wealthy guy,
Oh,
Sorry
were you really?
about that.
You grew up in San Diego?
Yeah.
I grew up in California.
Oh, where at?
I was in the Bay.
Oh, cool. Well, no, I don't know. Was that cool?
I was a kid. I moved here like 20 years ago.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah, so I've been here a while, but I did grow up there. Mm-hmm. But I mean, yeah, I don't really remember if it was cool. I was fucking 12, so
Yeah. San Diego was, it was cool.
San Diego's great. I've
Yeah.
been there a couple times.
Yeah, it's very nice.
But yeah, you came from some money then.
Yeah. So my parents had enough money to send me to private school. And
Nice.
then it was called a college preparatory school. So every single one of the kids in my grade and every grade goes to college.
Did you do theater or anything in high school?
Yeah, I did a bit of it.
Okay, so there was still a little something in there.
Yeah, I mean, there was, I definitely, my favorite thing was that sort of stuff. But,
But your parents
pursuing it as a career was like,
Yeah.
absolutely not doing any.
were your parents leading you away from it too?
No, it's just self-imposed pressure. It's like, oh, you can't do this professionally.
Right,
That's
right,
nuts.
right.
And I would skate around it, and even now, like I'm trying to stay realistic about stuff, or just not think about, if I'll be able to make a good living one day as like a stand-up comedian. I'm
Right.
literally just like I'm not going to think about it.
Right.
Because
That's
like if I
healthy.
think about it,
I think that's a bad place to be, is to think about it.
maybe, and like maybe you just have to like believe that you will be, but it just feels, because of how difficult it is, it just kind of feels like irresponsible to me.
Yeah. I feel the same. That's like, I sell mortgages still, but I really like doing this. And the more time it's taking out of my day and life, the more irresponsible I feel, where I'm like, man, I should be building a 401k or something.
Yeah.
But I don't
That's
know.
what happens. It just takes over.
It does. And when I turned 30, I was fucking depressed, dude. I was sitting around like, this is my life. I work 30 files a month for loans, and I just sit on my computer all day and I do that.
So what
like,
made
this
you
sad.
be like, I'm gonna sign up?
So it's funny. I was telling Nate Lorette this. He was on this a couple weeks ago, and it was a best man speech. So I did a best man speech at a wedding, and I killed. And everybody was like, "That was so good. You need to do that more. You need to keep doing this. Like, get up there and speak, talk to people, do comedy, whatever you like. That was incredible." And I left like, "Oh shit."
Yeah.
I'm the fucking big dog. And then I went to an open mic just to kind of hang out and chill in the back, and I just kind of watched everybody. And I was so nervous at first, but then after watching people bomb, it was like a Midnight Creek mic.
Right.
And after watching people bomb like 15 times in a row, you go, I could do that. It's not
Exactly.
that bad.
Yeah.
So then I went up and I bombed my first time, and I bombed a lot. I didn't really know how to structure a joke or anything. And now I think I'm getting decent where I feel comfortable with the silence, because I feel like a lot of my jokes are a really big buildup, and then the end is like, oh, that's pretty funny,
Okay. Yeah.
But it's a lot of silence of me building to that moment. And I wanted to get comfortable with that, and that's kind of where I got. But yeah, that all happened like over the last year. So I've been kind of leaning more and more into it.
Yeah. This is the place to get good for
Yeah.
sure. Like I started in San Diego. I was there for 9 months, and just like the progress you make in a place like that versus a place like this, where
Why didn't you go to LA?
because I lived here in 2013 for a year. I liked it. I had already moved from LA. And I liked Austin more than LA. And then I also knew that there was a bunch of stuff going on.
Things are blossoming.
Things were blossoming.
Yeah.
I thought I moved here too late. And then it's just like people keep moving here.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, holy shit. Because it's like once you're here, it's like, what are you going to do? Like it's just so oversaturated, unless you have like connections to people who put on shows or people at the mothership or something like that. It's just, so hard to get booked, so hard
Yeah.
to stand out. And even if you do, it's, I think the only way to make it here is to like either build a following that will come and see shows if you put them on, or kind of the mothership,
Yeah. I did the Mothership open mic for the first time a couple weeks back.
How'd it go?
I don't think I did that great, but I also didn't have any expectations. It was my first time, so I was like, I'm going to be nervous as shit. I'm going to go up there, I'm going to do medium, and then I'm going to leave and never talk about that again.
And that's what happened?
And it's exactly what happened. So I was like, all right, like that's kind of exactly what I figured.
Yeah, doing medium is better than bombing there.
Yeah, because I went up and I did like my first bit. I was kind of bantering with the audience member, and it went pretty good. My first bit was the bomb joke, which went pretty good, and then I started doing a couple other stuff that I was working on, and I just sort of fell flat. Like it didn't really land, and I was like, all right, well, I'm just gonna get out of here. So then I left, and pretty much everybody else bombed after and before me, is what it sounded like.
Yeah.
But it was weird is that you get these people who are, you can tell they've been doing it for a year and they're like, I didn't get my call back. I'm going to go home and kill myself. And it's like, dude, the expectation is crazy.
Yeah.
Like, what do you think?
The fact that you expect, like the people that do that show, like do the open mic and don't get a call back is like, for you to think that you'll get a call back is so stupid.
Because it's like, even if you do well, you probably don't get a call back.
Oh my God, you could murder and just not get a call back. Like absolutely crush. And
That's
just not
what
get a
I
call
figured.
back.
And I'm like, I was sitting there going, I mean, I was just happy to be there, really.
Yeah. To expect that you'll get a call back, particularly if you're unless you're fucking just the best. Like, yeah, it's just not going to happen.
But the way I see it is, and again, I'm very new, but the way I see it is you have to kind of know people there already. They already have to know your face. Then you have to be really good. They have to see you probably a couple times over a few years. And then they're like, I like that guy. We have a spot. Let's get that guy. That's kind of what I expect, right?
Well, the process is, most of the spots are given to the people that they know. And I I know a couple guys, but I still, I'm not.
It's a huge piece of it is networking.
I'm not getting,
Yeah.
I've been signing up since August. I got on the first time I signed up, and then I've never been on since.
Oh, wow.
So that's the biggest piece is like you're not the likelihood that you'll get up with that many spots being given away. It seems like there's like 4 to 6 spots and 300 people that sign up.
How many times have you been on Kill Tony?
Just that once.
Oh, yeah. You signed up for that one a lot, too.
Yeah, I probably had signed up 30 times maybe.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Have you been on?
Yeah, I was on in August, like when I first started. It was like 2 weeks, 3 weeks in, and I got on.
So what made you be like, that? I never get that. Like somebody who's like, I just started, I'm going to sign up.
I think it was stupidity, really.
Yeah, everybody's so dumb. Like,
Yeah,
you're
I was
not
dumb.
a dumb guy. But
No,
like,
I
it's
was
just,
dumb, though. But I mean, I was
Did it go
dumb.
well? Did it go well?
Honestly, it went okay.
Yeah.
So my minute bombed. I'll give you the whole scoop. So I went in there, and I was like, I can do this. Like, I've seen the show. I've been.
I remember your set. Now.
You remember
Yeah.
that? And
You talked to Heidi?
Yeah, that's right.
Right.
So I did I did my minute, which sucked. It was a joke that I was way too nervous to tell, and it was basically about like I had a dream I had sex with a girl in high school that was my high school crush.
And then you're a pedophile.
Yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
got it.
And I was like, fuck, should not have done that joke because it's super sketchy. And I was nervous. But then the interview, they just were roasting me for about 5 minutes. And then at the end, it ended pretty decent because I think the Heidi bit was funny.
Yeah. No, I remember. I don't remember your minute. I'm sure it was terrible.
It was
because
bad, yeah.
You've been doing it for 3 weeks. But yeah, that was funny. That was memorable. Did people post about it on Reddit?
Yeah, I went through it and everyone was like, oh, well, he was new. Like most people, the live chat was awful. The live chat was pedophile.
That was
like,
the
you're a
worst
murderer.
mistake, watching the live chat during my performance.
Well, yours couldn't have been that bad.
Oh, it was so bad.
What'd they say?
Skip, get him off, fucking Jew. I mean, the Jew stuff, I don't really care.
Yeah.
But yeah, they were like boring. Oh, this was during my interview. Like during the minute, yeah, people are like, this sucks, da 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 da. And then after, during the interview, I mean, there's like a little positivity you could find in there. But if it's the live chat, my understanding is
It's cancer.
yeah. And then I watched it go from the previous one and then into the next one. It was just all very negative.
Yeah.
I'm curious, for a set, Colton Jones was on my episode. I'm curious.
Yeah, he did great.
I'm curious what they said during his set because it was just objectively so good.
I mean, when you first walk out, it's literally all your physical appearance.
That was the most nervous I've ever been for anything in my life. I didn't
Really?
expect that. Yeah, I was.
You did good. You did good.
The minute,
Yeah.
the audience had no fucking idea what to make of that minute.
I think, but I think there were like I thought it was good though. It was like
There were
okay,
chuckles for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to do the Timmy no breaks thing. It's honestly probably better. Like, so I had signed up 30 times, brought my jacket 29 times. I think without that leather jacket, it's just
didn't bring it.
and then I didn't bring it.
30th time.
Isn't that crazy?
That's
And then,
crazy.
you sign up 30 times. You're like, okay, what's one time that I forget my jacket?
Yeah.
And you can't run, And then it was funny because like I got called and apparently what I said immediately was, fuck, where's my jacket? I need a jacket.
I heard you in I heard you in there say that.
And then I was like trying to find a jacket as I was walking up, and
someone
then other
handed
people,
you one. Someone
handed me their flannel, and I was like, nah. It was crazy. Like the fact that there was nobody with a leather jacket in there of any. I would have taken anything.
Was it warm?
Probably.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It just seems like people are so psycho that they have their whatever. So yeah, and then I'm like, but I think looking back on it, if I had gone on as Timmy No Breaks, it might have been truly not.
Well, you never
not
know.
right.
You never know.
Yeah, because it's just got to be. It has to be done right, and I think that if I can do it right, even if Tony hates it, I'm on stage for 3 minutes and he kicks me off. I think it. I'm confident that it can do well and get a lot of attention. Not to say it's like anything about my life will necessarily change, but it makes it worth it to sign up again if I think there's a possibility that it could do something.
Yeah.
At least even if it's just followers. Followers are.
How many did you get from the?
Dude, like 30 to 50.
Really?
Yeah. How many do you like? Hundreds. It's.
No, I think it was pretty light. I remember getting something like, probably like 50 to 100, something like that.
Yeah, Colton he's probably got like 2,000 now.
He got 2,000?
Just from that.
Wow.
So yeah, which it was like, I'm like, fuck. But then what's crazy is I posted this Timmy No Breaks video, and at least for me, it blew up. It's got what is it?
What's the video?
So it's Timmy, I pinned it, but yeah, like Adam, I got a like from Adam Devine, which was a huge deal, and then I booked a Don't Tell show from it, which was great.
This one here?
Yeah, go to Reels. I'm curious how many. And you've had shit go fucking crazy viral. Yeah, so for me, that's like, that's like by far the highest.
This one here?
Yeah. Dude, I don't know if I can handle watching this.
No, this was good. I saw this.
It was.
Do you hate seeing yourself on screen? Do you hate it?
I'm okay watching myself in private. I think like watching somebody else watch me is pretty rough.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I don't mind. You could do whatever. I just need to grow up. But
that's funny.
But yeah, it's it's doing for me. It's doing very well. The whole, I mean, it's been awesome. I can't stop like pulling it up. Yeah, like Lucas McCrary just sold it. I'm a huge fan of him.
Yeah.
TikTok, it's the first thing, but it's like, what's crazy is that, if I compare this to one of your videos, it's like you'd be disappointed if you got these numbers,
Well, I think it's because I've been doing the social media stuff for so long.
Yeah.
I honestly just know how it works. Like I tell a lot of people what I usually do is I'll post everything on TikTok. TikTok to me is like an open mic. I'll just post anything on there. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
And then if I see the ratio like shares and all that is at a certain number, then I'm like, this was good. I'm going to post it other places. And then I'll post it on Instagram, and then Facebook, and I'm trying to do X because my goal is to sort of have like all of these kind of build. And then I want to monetize off of them too, because you can get paid off TikTok and stuff. But
Are you posting to YouTube? I hear YouTube is.
I do. So that's kind of why I wanted to do the podcast, is because I can post on YouTube and get clips that can post on YouTube clips and stuff. So
YouTube for like it's kind of. I know everybody's like, oh, I think I'm shadow banned, but like, I don't know. It really okay. So, all right, let's get into it. So for TikTok,
yeah,
okay. I have only 17, like almost 18,000 views on this, but I have 1,500 likes or 1,600 likes, 125 favorites, 138 comments.
So it's 1,500 likes and 18,000 views?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a good ratio. Like, generally speaking, you want it to be 10% of views is your likes. Or,
Okay.
so if it's 18,000, you would want to have around 1,800. Wait, what's the math on that?
Oh,
Am I
shit.
fucked up?
Okay, so this is not, yeah. So I will want
But on
1,800
Instagram, it's different.
likes.
Yeah.
So like this is actually not, this is like accurate for the amount of views I have.
Yeah. I think that's pretty solid. Like, if you're getting...
What about Instagram?
Instagram's harder to gauge because I found that it falls into like niches, and some people will like it a lot, other people will I don't know. Instagram, it's harder to gauge. I'm really good at gauging the TikTok ratios because I know, like I said, if you get 100 views, you should have 10 likes is generally what the ratio is. And if it's hitting that, that's like, holy shit, that's a good video. That's really good. If it's a little light of that, it's okay. But the 10% number is like, whoa. And if you can get that on Instagram, then it's a really good one too. But also, it's just about posting a shitload because you never know what's going to just hit.
How often do you post?
I try to do one every night. So I'll do one where I'm just kind of talking to myself every night. And then I'll post that on TikTok every night. And most of them suck. But once in a while, I'll have something that I've been thinking about all day. And I'm like, I'm just going to vent it out into the camera. And it usually, I'll get one that I'm like, this one's pretty good. But also with the podcast, I'm trying to get more clips that way. It's all about clip farming at the end of the day. You're just farming clips, which is sad to say.
Do you not get penalized for having like videos just not do well?
On TikTok, no, not really. You can just post whatever on there and it'll just sort of do whatever. I think that's one of the only ones where you can just post an infinite amount of times every day and they don't really give a shit.
So maybe I should just do talking to camera type stuff.
Yeah, but you kind of want it to be kind of good.
Right.
But you also you don't want to do that on Instagram. If you post too much on Instagram, people are going to be like, what is this guy doing? Then it's going to be too much. Instagram is like the show. It's like, okay.
So how many times do you post to Instagram a week?
Maybe once or twice a week. Okay. Maybe. Like sometimes I'll even hold off because I'm like, I got nothing good I want to put on here yet. But
that's this is good advice. I don't know. I hate that I am even focused on this.
But it's part of it, Like, look at Theo Von. He's fucking killed that. The whole thing with him was just he did the podcast, and even Matt and Shane's podcast. That internet presence is what got him on SNL. It's what got him to where he is.
Yeah.
So I do
posting his like him posting those sketches got him.
That's true.
Yeah,
that helps also.
So like sketches and
the sketches are good.
You know who I think is absolutely killing it is Anthony Papali.
Oh, who's that?
He his sketches. I mean,
is he the Indian guy?
Yeah. His.
Oh, I've seen him around town. I've seen his sketches.
It's literally because.
I could pull it up. Sorry.
Oh, no worries. Sorry, I have my accountant that I just got in a disaster that happened with taxes. Okay, so Anthony Papali.
Yeah, this guy.
And
Yeah, his sketches are funny.
Really, really good.
Yeah,
and he does it with his buddy, who's also super funny. The guy with
Oh, the guy up here?
yeah. Click on the upper right one,
This one here?
or click on the upper left one. Have you seen this one? Like Nico is like his partner that he does most of them with.
Yeah. Yeah, this is good.
It's just like it's super simple stuff, like there's it's just so funny.
But it's a good premise right away.
But 100 just totally fucking
Yeah, he's blowing
crushes.
out of the water.
Yeah,
How
yeah,
often
yeah.
does he do these?
They do them pretty,
How many
I don't
posts does
know.
he have? 297. That's a good amount.
Right.
And then let's see the reels here. Kind of viewership. Yeah, it looks 6 million. That's good.
Just crushing. So I mean, this is like how many followers does he have?
I think 39. Yeah.
What's crazy is like, he's to me, I would be like, oh, I would assume these people have so many more followers,
Yeah, for 300 posts, that's wild. Like a good thing to do is to see when he started posting, and to see how long. Because a big part of it is consistency too. If you're doing it nonstop for several, now it starts becoming just his life.
Yeah.
Go up to find like the first one that's like this looks like a clip. Let's see a date on this. So that was about
I mean,
like 2 years ago.
Yeah, pretty fast.
Yeah, that is pretty quick.
Good job. Let's see the first one that blew up. Average guy flirting online.
This one here?
Yeah, that's I mean, it's kind of like me.
Yeah, but look, this looks way lower quality. Like that's a green screen.
Yeah, Anthony, if you're watching this, like fucking up your quality, dude. Why were you phoning it in like this? No pun intended.
No, but he still killed it though. But a lot of it is just you gotta just do it and fuck it up too. And then there's some stand-up clips.
All right, let's see the first one that like popped off.
Let's go. So there's 10K, 24. It's a Kill Tony. 72, 8. It's a 10, 13. You can kind of tell there's a trend here though. Like it's definitely getting bigger and bigger.
193. That's the first. I think that's like the first
Where?
one, like first big jump. 193. Go up.
Oh, right here.
Yeah. Let's see this.
See, it's the same theme. Same theme. That's funny.
That's funny. So they did it, and then they kind of did it,
and then they did it again.
Yeah.
He found a niche, and he was like, "All right, let's keep it up." But there's here's another one. The friend who's praying about your wife. I bet it's the same like kind of style. You see, same thing again. It's a good niche, though. That's good.
Wow, Anthony, we figured you out.
Yeah. Oh, this is the one I saw this sketch of his on like someone's story, and I was cracking up.
Oh, this is so funny.
Yeah. I'm surprised this one didn't blow up. This one was fucking great.
Maybe it was too early.
That's so good. Is this that time?
I love how it's just super simple. Like one guy's crazy, one guy's the straight man, and the jokes and the editing is just so good.
Yeah, it's good.
All right,
Yeah.
I gotta go.
You gotta dip?
I wish I could stay longer.
Yeah,
'Cause
yeah.
This is like a good combo.
Yeah.
But
we could do another one of these.
Yeah, for sure.
We'll call it a part 1 and 2. But if you got a dip, yeah, because I did want to talk a little bit about the comedy club and just what that was gonna.
Let's make that part 2 because the meeting is about the comedy. It's for the people that are building the website.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
So I'll have more of an update, anyways. When we talk next.
Yeah. All right. Well, then we'll do a part 2.
Suck my dick.
Peace.
You need a